What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Depth Podcast. I'm Joey Alfieri with Simon Tsalikis. We're here every day. We've been doing Tuesday to Friday. Now, if you saw the episode on Monday, we recorded from our home studios on Monday, and then we're back in the place, dans la place.
Yes.
Tuesday through Friday, we've got an action-packed show lined up for you. We're actually going to be joined. I know Brian joined us a little bit last week, but Brian Wilde, full episode of Brian Wilde. Brian will join us in just a couple minutes time. But Simon, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Looking at myself at the cameras.
You don't like what you see?
I'm really hoping that the camera puts
10
on
pounds.
10 pounds because
Let's see.
that's too much.
No, you look
from
good,
the neck up,
Tsalikis.
it's fine. It's fine. You're gonna live with it. But
Let me see your chest. Oh, you look fine. You look good.
I don't know. We gotta
You
hit
look
the
good.
gym, I think.
You look good.
What's going on, Joe?
But you're hitting the gym, aren't you?
I've taken a little bit of time off.
Oh.
Step away.
Oh,
Spend
okay.
more time with my family. Is
that what they want?
Is that what athletes say? No, when you
Yeah.
step away from,
But is that what they want? Like, that's what
I
everybody
didn't
says.
ask.
Everybody says,
yeah.
I'm leaving to spend time with my family. But does the family really
Yeah.
want you around?
Where have
That's
you
the
been for the
question.
last 15 years?
Who is this dude?
Yeah. So that's it. Yes.
That's it. That's all. You're
you know.
going to spend more time with your family.
That's
less
what
time
I'm going
in
to
the
plan
gym.
to do. That's what
All
I'm going
right,
to plan
that's
to do.
fair enough. Look, Simon,
Forgot my laptop. I apologize.
It's okay. You don't have to apologize to me. I've got my iPad. I'm good. Look, there's a lot of things we need to get to. Yesterday, we talked about the Mike Matheson extension. We talked about the road trip and how I think we thought it was pretty positive the
4
way
out
that
of
it
6.
went. You get
Come on.
4 out of 6. But there's one report from last week. I believe it was Pierre LeBrun that had this. Nashville is clearly leaking things out there. And so it sounds like the price today for Ryan O'Reilly, and I honestly, I don't think it's going to go down. The price is an A-level prospect and a first-round pick.
Okay, so A-level prospect.
A-level prospect. So to me, if we're looking at the Canadiens,
There's one.
I think there's 2.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it could be Michael Hage
That's the
or
one.
David Reinbacher.
Well, I
Let's
have
say.
Hage as my
Whatever.
yes.
Okay. Now, my question to you is,
Mhm.
I like Ryan O'Reilly. I think Ryan O'Reilly's a really good
Quality
player.
hockey
Obviously,
player.
Quality player. There's a Conn Smythe there, right?
Yes.
So all the experience you need. The season hasn't gone very well. I know that him and Stamkos have, there's late last week, there's a little more production there.
Okay.
But it hasn't gone necessarily very well in Nashville for us
No.
to be having these conversations
Yes.
about them offloading players.
Just a life lesson here.
Yeah,
A sports life lesson.
Yeah.
2 summers removed from winning the offseason.
Yeah.
No. Joey, they made the playoffs. They got bounced. They went and got Jonathan Marshall. So if you want to talk about Conn Smythe,
Yeah.
there's another guy with a Conn Smythe. Steven Stamkos is a first ballot Hall of Famer. They won the offseason. And we fast forward to December of 2025. No longer winners.
Would you do it?
No.
You wouldn't do it?
No. If my name is Michael Hage, my top prospect is Michael Hage and a first rounder. My answer is no. David Reinbacher is more in play for me than Michael Hage is. We spent time talking about Logan Cooley versus Slav. I told you why I like Logan Cooley, because he plays the center ice position.
Yeah.
There's an incredible value. The Canadiens have 1 point a game center iceman in the last 20 years.
It feels like 50.
And they made the playoffs. Can you imagine having 2 good playing center ice?
Yeah.
So I'm not in on either one of those young players moving, but if you asked me to pick between the prospects, I would be much more at ease parting ways with David Reinbacher than Michael Hage.
All right. That's a very interesting take, because I know you're big on you were big on the Kadri front. I know you like Ryan O'Reilly,
Yeah.
but that is a little bit of a price to pay. But at the same time, everybody seems to be looking for a second line center or a guy who can play first or second line center.
Makes
So
them better,
there's
Joey.
not many of them available.
He makes them better.
So I totally understand why they're asking for that price. And if you get into a bidding war, it might even be more than that. But let's go to our guest joining us now, veteran Montreal reporter and a very good of both of us. I think that was a nice way of saying you're old, Brian Wilde. From
That's cool. That's cool. It's true. I am old.
You look young, though. You look younger than Tsalikis. That's all that counts.
Tsalikis, what are you, 50-something?
53.
Yeah. I look like you at 53.
Ah, nice.
That's not very right. You should be nicer to yourself. I don't understand why you're saying so. But Brian, thanks for doing this. And I'm just
pleasure.
curious, where you stand on the first and A-level prospect Hage or Reinbacher for Ryan O'Reilly.
Well, I'll tell you what. Firstly, my top prospect is Alexander Zhuravsky.
Right.
So let's get that out of the way. Then number 2, I would say is Michael Hage. Number 3, I would say is Jacob Fowler because goalies are voodoo. And number 4, I would say is David Reinbacher, even though he's playing a lot better in the last 6 games and is definitely leveled up.
Right.
I would not make that deal for any of those 4 guys in a first round draft choice because you're getting the rest of this season and one more season, and you're giving up a 10-year asset. I just would not do that. I would say that the limit of what I would take on this trade, guys, would be that first rounder, but it's got to be around the 20th pick. I mean, you can't go into the tank here and make it. You know, it can't be like the 8th pick overall. You got to be heading to the playoffs. And so it's a 20th pick overall for Nashville. And then the first prospect would be my number 5 guy that I would allow would be Adam Engstrom. That trade I would make.
So I don't have Fowler even in the conversation. It's literally.
What do you mean? Like not
he's
in
not
your
a
top
prospect.
4?
I don't consider him a prospect. He is untouchable.
Oh, okay.
I see.
You get
still a
if the
prospect,
Predators
but he's untouchable.
call, you get dial tone for me the moment you ask for him. There's just
Really?
not, Joey. There's just not enough of them, Brian. There's just not enough of grade A goaltending
But
prospects.
I feel
He's
like a
that-
lot of teams figure it out. Like, I know not every
Well,
team. Like I know the Oilers don't figure it out, but a lot of teams.
But
figure it out.
Spencer Knight, right? His time in Florida,
Yeah.
not ideal. Goes to Chicago, has found his ways.
Yep.
So I like Sam Montembeault. I like Dobish as well. But this is a guy that you've developed, and there's not 6 of them running around in your lineup. There is 1, and he gets 55 starts at a couple of years from now. So for me right now, Fowler is hands off, complete hands off.
Here's one of the reasons I agree with that. Like, they have aspirations of winning the Stanley Cup, not being super competitive. Like, if you're going to win the Stanley Cup, you need a Stanley Cup goalie. And that they're hoping is Fowler. And there's no one else in the organization who they think can elevate to that level. So he better be it, right? Like, there's no one else. He better be it. He better be the real deal. And I think he is the real deal. I agree with Simon. I think he is an untouchable. He is something special, and he is where he is already at a younger age than most goalies. He's putting in nice numbers in the American Hockey League. I think they're going to improve there. And then in a couple of years, it's time for the NHL. And that's when they're going to be flying with the arrival of the 4 prospects I just mentioned to round out a top 6 that's going to be outstanding, and even a top 12. Man, I did the top 12 the other day, and Kirby Dach was on the 4th line. That's how good this team's going to be.
Yeah.
What do you think the ceiling is on Dobish?
This is it.
This is it.
This
You
is
don't
it.
think better than this?
No, he's an 8-9. He's an 890 goalie, I think.
Okay.
Which is not terrible. 890 is not terrible, believe it or not, in today's NHL. The numbers are going down like substantially in terms of save percentage. The 932s Carey Price was putting in are like a thing of the past. So I don't know if the reverse VH was really a good idea for anybody, because goalies seem to be worse since they invented this. But the league average was 900 last year. I believe it's 896 this year. So, I mean, if you're pulling an 890, you're just below replacement, which is pretty good for a backup goalie. So, and I think Montembeault is only an 898, 899, somewhere in there, but they believe Fowler's their 910, they're 915. And if they get a guy with that number, they're on their way to great things.
Yeah, I also think with the Fowler is just you can't see him establish himself and give somebody else in the conference, maybe he doesn't go to Nashville, maybe there's another deal to be had somewhere. You just can't watch this guy play stellar for 12, 13 years in nets somewhere else. And if, I hope it works out for the kid. I hope he's the next Carey Price, next Patrick Roy, whatever. But there's even an element for me. I have to hold on to that, because you look at it, guys, Edmonton Oilers, excellent hockey team. Like, how many teams are searching for a goaltender? I had Darren Dreger on the morning show a couple of days ago, and I said, Darren, like, where does a team go and find goaltending? How many are out there? I said, give me a number. He's like, none.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's a weird position in the draft. Like, I feel more so than the other positions, I feel like you can pull out a goalie. I think you have better odds. And I didn't do the study, Brian. I know you probably have, but I feel like you can pull out starting caliber goaltending in like the 5th, 6th, like 4th, 5th, and 6th round. Like, I feel like it's such a random, misunderstood position that you have a better chance of pulling out a star number 1 goalie in the 5th than you do, say, a number 1 center or number 1 D.
I think that.
Well,
I think that's a fair assessment.
And look where they got Fowler. I mean, it wasn't like he was 5th overall like Carey Price.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. I mean, everybody likes to make the joke it's voodoo, and it really is. And just to speak of what it takes to make a champion, as great as those Oiler teams were, and Stuart Skinner takes a lot of heat for being horrible. Well, one of the times they made it to the Game 7 against Florida Panthers, he was 901. Like, it wasn't like he was 840 or anything. He was 901 in the playoffs. He wasn't horrendous. It just shows you're going to need Fowler. You're going to need 910, 920 for the goalie to not be the story letting you down when you have Connor McDavid on your team.
Yeah. So, Brian, Slav gets moved to the
That's
second
exactly
line.
where I wanted to go.
Yeah, so because we call it the Nick Suzuki line. I think when you're a point of game center, you're the top line, and there's no breaking news there.
It's always the center.
Yeah, and Cole Caulfield on one side, and I wasn't certain what I was going to see with Slav. I didn't think I'm not going to say the young man's going to see it as a demotion. He's like, hey, man, coach is like talking to him. So listen, I'm going to move you here. I'm going to move that guy there. I got to get a top 6 going here. I don't need a top 3 going here. I would imagine a difficult decision for Martin St. Louis. They've been productive. They passed the eye test, the analytics test, all the tests. And I wasn't certain what we're going to get from Slav. I didn't think we were going to see any moping or any stuff like that. But here you are, you got to go find yourself and kind of reinvent yourself, because you go from playing a certain role on that top line, and then you go into playing with Kapanen and Demidov. And my goodness gracious, Brian, I'm absolutely, I'm blown away, but I am so pleasantly surprised how he's been able to just get in there with guys that he hasn't had minutes with. It's not like they had a playoff run the year before, and then they come into camp and they move things around. Like, this is an introduction to these guys. And how well he's played from distributing the puck, holding on to the puck, making the right play. So pleasantly surprised with what I've seen from Slafkovsky the last couple of games.
And it just shows, too, that when you're the new guy, you're going to behave like the new guy. Like, Caulfield, though fairly young, is much more of a veteran than he was. And Suzuki, obviously, is more of a veteran than the other two. So anytime he started to carry the puck, in his mind, he was already deferring. I shouldn't be doing this. It should be handled by one of those other 2 guys who are the veterans. And it just shows so much the hockey kind of hierarchy and mentality, where you only start to sometimes branch out when you're now the freedom guy, the veteran guy, even though Kapanen is actually, Peter Veronis told me yesterday when I was saying the veteran was Slafkovsky, Kapanen's actually older, apparently. So that's the big surprise there. But Slafkovsky feels like the elder statesman, being, how many years he's played in the National Hockey League. So he's treating it like he's the veteran. He gets to carry the puck. He doesn't have to defer to anyone. And suddenly you're looking at him and you're going, wow, this guy actually wins the blue line. He's got more offensive zone wins than anybody on the team since the lines have changed. And his number before that was like 0. It was like next to 0. He got to center and went, I got to look for a guy. And now he gets to the blue line and says, I got to win this area. Like the spinorama that led to the goal where he slides it over to the other side to Demidov is a perfect example of, offensively winning the blue line. And then winning the zone. And then I just loved his duplicity on that. That's another thing I've seen him grown so much recently. Like, he's usually been a guy that got the puck, looked exactly at his target, and then passed to his target, which gave the defenseman 2 seconds to go exactly to where he was looking. And so that sort of slow nature, I was always kind of looking at as like a slow processor, which you can't have in the NHL. Now suddenly he's getting it. He makes the spinorama. He looks down. He looks everywhere but Demidov, and then passes it to him. Not once, but twice recently, where the deception was next level. Like Slafkovsky, guys, he is so leveling up right now. I don't know if I've ever seen a player level up in 3 weeks like I've seen this player level up. And if he levels back down from here, it'll be a shock, because this feels real. It's the right year for it to happen historically. I mean, even Nathan McKinnon had a good rookie year and then 2 crap years before he started to find his way. It can happen. It can take a while. And if this is the moment, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he levels up like this and just keeps going.
Yeah, and it's funny because Simon's talking about him not taking it as a demotion, and I hope he wouldn't, because like you guys mentioned, there's a lot more puck responsibility that comes with playing on the line that he is now. But like we remember a couple of years ago, like Brian, he needed to be put on the top line, or else it was top line or Laval.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of growth that's happened since then. And you know, you guys talk about the great pass to Demidov. I think it was the night before the one to Bolduc when he was on the along the wall. I mean,
that was beautiful deception there too, Joey.
Yeah. There's a lot of growth there. So look, we're talking about a player who's 22, who has a couple of 50-point seasons under his belt. I think this is a really big year. Like I know the numbers aren't there right now. The numbers are what they are: is 7 goals and 13 points in 24 games. He's gonna have to, get on an uptick there.
Yes, to get to that.
But I think this is a player. Like we had this discussion a couple weeks ago, Brian. We had the Cooley versus Slafkovsky debate the first time Montreal and Utah played. And to me, my point was, I don't know who's going to be better, and Cooley might be more, might produce more, but I feel like the body type Slafkovsky has, he doesn't need to produce as much to be more valuable than Cooley does. Like if he's 30 goals and 40 assists, and those are big numbers, like that's a win to me. I'll take that all day. And the other guy might have 90 or 95 points, and it'll be very debatable, but Slafkovsky does not need to score as much as Cooley does to justify the rank.
And I think we need to win your argument by saying, Joey, let's go back to draft day, why they made the choice they did. They weren't looking at points when all was said and done. I think what they said to him, it's 2027, and we're trying to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Do we need a giant body that's in the mix, or do we need somebody who's getting pummeled all the time? And I really think that what they felt was the guy who was going to be the best in the playoffs. And we can't know this for a while because both teams have to make them consistently and make runs. And I think both teams will make runs. They've got, great things going in Utah. But when we get to that moment, that's going to be the decider. Because if Cooley goes away, and there is a potential that he can go away with that body, with the height, with the way the playoffs are played, versus the guy that can throw it around, be big, win pucks. He's doing all of the things that big bodies do, except for he's not a hitter. But that's okay. He doesn't have to be Tom Wilson. He can do a bunch of other things. And add to that, Cooley's not great defensively. I think he'll get better because he's got a good head on his shoulders. I really like Logan Cooley. But Slaf right now already, believe it or not, he's got the best Corsi on the team. It's not Suzuki. It's Juraj Slafkovsky.
Get your thoughts on this, Brian. Hudson, Cooley, Matheson, and Dobson as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 signed for the better part of a decade coming up. When you stack up that 4 against most forwards across the National Hockey League, where does it rank?
Oh, it's really high. There are, I did this a couple of years ago of how good the champions were or close to champions. And believe it or not, champions and close to champions teams that were highly ranked that went to the Final Four for almost a decade. They had 3 legitimate out of 4 top 4 defensemen all the time. The fourth one was always kind of like a little less. And then as far as forwards, it was always 5 out of 6. It was very rare that all 6 forwards, even on the better teams, were all legitimate top 6 players. So the Canadiens, I would definitely rank right now, when Cooley comes back, I'd rank him in the top 5 for sure. You got Matheson, who's obviously a first pair player. And with Dobson, they make a great first pair, especially Matheson. He's just having a hell of a year. It's plus 13. Dobson's plus 2. It's weird that they're on the same partnership, but one is so superior to the other. But there it is. And Hudson obviously could be a first pair on other teams. And I love Cooley too. And he's the right complement for Hudson. So I think they got 4 guys. And that right now, a couple guys are not in their seat because of the Cooley injury is the reason that sometimes they're struggling. Carrier has tough assignments. They're too tough sometimes. Strubal's in the 4-hole. I don't think he's a 4-hole player. And so that's why you're having a little bit of issue, but that will be solved when Cooley comes back. And ultimately, I think, and I did this on Blue Sky the other day, ultimately, I think, guys, that they're going to be 9 defensemen, and you can add them all up. I think everybody will know who the 9 are. And when all 9 have established themselves, they'll do exactly what they did when they felt they had 9 the last time, and they traded Kovacevic and Harris. When they feel like they've got their super 9, And maybe Reinbacher does pass Cooley, and suddenly Cooley's on the third pair or something like that, in terms of rotating Hudson back to his natural left side. When they feel they got their Super 9, and you can add them all up at home, everybody will, they'll trade 2. But not until then. Like, people are saying, now you got to trade somebody because you got Matheson locked in. No way. You trade them when you know who your best ones are. And right now, you do not know that. You don't know if Strubal's going to be the guy with the best ceiling. The guy who's expanding his ceiling the best right now is actually Engstrom. You don't know if that stops or keeps going. Is Xhekaj hit his limit? That's 3 guys right there. And so you have to wait a couple years until you absolutely know.
That's going to be their saving grace. Like, when we look around, like, Barkov is a hell of a player, and so is Tkachuk, so is Sam Bennett. But do you remember the Hockey World's reaction when they landed Seth Jones? Now, Seth Jones, kind of lost his way there in Chicago, but touted to be a great defenseman. We go back to how great Kane and Taves were, and who else was on that? Who was the pretty guy? That's
Michael Hanzus.
No, the Patrick Sharp.
Yeah.
He's pretty guy. He's on television. It looks very good.
Yeah.
Seabrook and Keith on the blue line.
It starts, and I say it starts, it ends with Seabrook and Keith, but that's the one thing that they had. I'm drawing a blank on the coach who's now the coach in Anaheim. Joe Quenneville. When you have 2 guys that you can run out there for 27, 28 in a playoff game, what a difference. And the Johnny Oduya and those guys were good defensemen too. But the luxury of having 4 guys that you can trust in the 25-minute range come games that matter, what an incredible luxury that is. And they're a really good spot with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I agree with you. I think so. I think, look, we'll see come playoff time, or when this team is ready to go, if they have 4 guys that can play upwards of 25, but the future definitely looks bright. Brian, thank you for doing this. Always appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Absolute pleasure. Enjoy it, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
It's Brian Wilde. Nice enough to join us here on the Sports Step podcast, which is brought to you by Clark Cafe. Simon Tsalikis. You might see the mug.
I was there today.
Today?
Yeah.
I wasn't there today. I was there 2 days ago.
Banged out a latte.
Okay. Skim milk?
No.
Regular milk?
We're
3.25%?
100%.
I do skim milk, man.
For what?
That's why I look like this.
My goodness gracious. No. And a cutlet sandwich.
A cutlet sandwich.
Yes, half. Brought it home and shared it with my wife.
Oh, that's romance, nice. Man.
Not really, but
that's romantic. Good, well done, Tsalikis.
Scoring brownie points when you bring home lunch. So check them out very often in the West Island location, and Joey Alfieri very often in the Point St. Charles location. 2 great spots, great coffee, great sandwiches. Tops, actually, I love it.
Yeah, phenomenal. I rotate the grilled chicken. Fun fact, I don't know if everybody knows this, but when I go on the road with the Alouettes, which is 10 times a year, our tradition is I will pick up sandwiches for some of the guys that work here with us and that work for the Alouettes as well. Sam, still waiting for Sam to pick me up a sandwich, but never happens.
Danny Machocha also too behind the cameras.
Danny Machocha, Danny Machocha is not behind the cameras, but yes, Danny Machocha is at Clark
Pierre
as well.
Carpello, the working camera 3. Thank you so much.
Great men, but
not working.
But I think they have better things to do than the Sports Life podcast. But thank you to Clark Cafe for being a proud sponsor. All right, that's all the time we have for this episode. Just make sure that you subscribe, you rate. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. You can comment on whatever you like. Comment on Tsalikis' form below the neck. Make him feel good about himself. He looks good. I don't know why Simon's getting all upset with himself. He looks fantastic. I hope to look like you, Simon, when I'm 53 years old.
Nice. Eat a lot of potato chips, carbonated beverages. You're home, kid.
Yeah, carbonated beverages, I'm okay. I'm on the sugar-free carbonated beverages now. Yeah, I don't even do the Sprite anymore or anything like that. Yeah, bubbly. That's the way to go, man. That's the future.
Not really.
That's all we've got. That's a discussion for another day. All right, we'll be back with another episode tomorrow when we talk about the Canadiens honoring Andrei Markov before their game against the Winnipeg Jets. We'll talk Andrei Markov and Montreal Canadiens on tomorrow's episode.